Hello, Carolyn. I see that you're here. All right. How are you, Carolyn? I think that there's some troubles with the emails. If you guys really knew like what goes on behind the scenes, like all the different parts and pieces to emails, to creating links, to sending out stuff every week. It's so crazy. Nothing is easy. So I think that there's been some trouble with people getting the link for my class, which is unfortunate. But Carolyn, I see you're here. So hello. Let's make sure it's working. All right. Let's see who else comes in. So how are you, Carolyn? How is everything going on with you and your family? Oh, all the craziness. You and I are in a very similar phase of our lives. So I can commiserate with you. I'm just plugging my computer in. So I don't know if anyone else is here. All right. Well, I may go back there, but I really wanted to see if anyone else would come that I know, because for me, sometimes knowing who's here helps to direct things. So maybe Steve is out there. Stevie. Yeah, Stevie, I think we figured it out. We haven't fixed it yet, but we figured it out. So how did you find the link, Stevie? That's what I want to know. It's the same link every week. So I think we permanently set up links for my YouTube classes. Of course, my Zoom classes, you need to sign up through Torrance Memorial Medical Center. But I think the problem is when I go away and we try to change things within our system, that's when things get messed up. So I believe this happened in February when I was in Spain and England and Scotland. And this may have happened last week when I went away. So we're trying to figure out how to send out messages without messing up the existing campaign. So I think that happened. Hi, Roxanne. Great. Have you ever practiced with me before? If you want to let me know anything about you or what's going on with you, I'd love to hear that. And yeah, thank you. My work and my passion to learn as much as I can about bone health, to share as much as I can, to bring it into my own life, my own body, so that I can share it in the safe way possible, because that's really what it is for me. It's my passion. It's my passion to change the way the world views osteoporosis as a disease that you have forever and you need to take medications, to oops, you're losing too much bone. How do you stop that from happening? And what can you do from now on to have the strongest bones for the rest of your life? So that's really where my passion is. Okay, you went onto my website, Stevie, and you were able to get it? Because I'm thinking that what we should do is have some links somewhere so that there's always a place, and it should be on my website, actually. It really should be. You want to join us live at 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time on Thursdays, bam, click this. And then the 1 week that I'm off, there could be something. So I got to figure that one out. So, all right, thanks, Stevie. Yeah. It is part of life. Okay, perfect. All right. Wow. Okay, so that's definitely up there, the -4s and 5s, but it doesn't mean it can't be stopped, potentially reversed, because it depends on what are the factors that are contributing to bone loss, whether that's physiological, or is there a mental emotional aspect or a musculoskeletal. The three different areas of where bone loss happens, three main areas that contribute to bone loss, are the musculoskeletal, that's alignment, injury, in your bones, your muscles, like in your physical touchable body. And then there's that physiological. So this has to do with food, inflammation, hormone issues, acidity, toxicity, and minerals. So those are the whole physiological factors behind bone loss. And then there's the mental, emotional, and stress management, what's going on in your life that you can control or are aware of, and managing that. So there's a lot you can do, a lot of different areas. and then lumbar 3 times. So is that wedge fractures from osteoporosis? Oh my God, I love that. Yeah, Roxanne, I work with people with functionally. I run functional labs, and I'm going to tell you, high percentage of gastrointestinal issues, a lot of gut stuff. So definitely you can heal that. Okay. Well, great. So glad to have you. And as it would be, my plan for today was to strengthen the back of the body, or just to work on posture and alignment, which is what we need to do for reducing spinal fractures, because that's where most of them are. And so this is going to be perfect. So welcome. Glad you're here. All right. I'm going to go back there without glasses. I do not see anything. We'll have to chit chat at the end of class today, or you can always send me a correspondence through my email, debbie@debbierobinson.com, or my website, debbierobinson.com. Keeping it really easy. I think the only challenge is that I spell my name Debi. And I did that when I was 16 because I went to beauty school. I'm a licensed hairdresser. I went to beauty school when I was 16, and there were 6 Debbies, Debbie. So I changed it to Debi. That was like my way to change my name. So it's been interesting. Many years later, 40 years later, here I am. All right. Okay, so let's work on strengthening our body and our bones and our ability to stay in the present moment. So I'm going to call it that. Strengthen your ability to stay here and now, which is really stress management. Because when you're not in this moment, and you're in the past and you're in the future, you're in the what were's or the what will be's or what won't be, and the fear of that, that is where that chronic background stress response takes place. And that erodes our health, our bones, our hormones, our gut, all of it. So we're going to strengthen our mind, strengthen our muscles, strengthen our bones. There will be a focus today on posture and alignment muscles, strengthening them, because that's how we will be held upright, lifted off away from the front of the spine, where over time that pressure leads to wedge fractures. The good thing about focusing on the back is that there's not really a lot of muscles there. You know, if you look at your skeleton, your spine is really close to the back. Like you could go up to someone's back and actually touch the bones, right? Feel like you're touching the bones and the tailbone and even the back pelvis. So there's not a lot of tissue in the back. The muscles are kind of flat and small. The big one, of course, the largest muscle group in the body are the glutes. And that might be why we were designed like this, because, you know, the rest of the muscles, especially in the torso, are there's not a lot. I mean, there's much more here. Like we have the whole abdominal cavity here. We've got the big pectorals here. We do have the traps and the lats on the back, and we have the erector muscles. And so sometimes some of the work when we're strengthening our posture is a little bit more subtle. And I like that because I can do strong work yet not feel like, oh, this is so hard. Of course, though, when we're doing tushy, we definitely do some challenges. So let's close our eyes wherever you're sitting, get yourself comfortable. Bring your hands together, bring your hands to your heart, because you are a mind-body complex. We need to turn everything in the direction of health, healing, bone building, and present moment awareness. So push your thumbs together, push your pointer fingers together, push your middle fingers, your ring finger, and your pinkies. Push all your fingers and your hands together, and then push your chest to your hands to your chest. Eyes are closed, go strong with that. And see if you feel the muscles in the back of the body fire up, turn on. Then bring your torso back. So push your body back in space. It may even go back substantial, maybe 6 inches in movement. And then see if you can relax in this position. Bring your awareness inside to your skeleton, skull, spine, ribs, pelvis, as if you could see it, like your own x-ray, leg bones, feet. both sides. Bring your awareness up now to shoulders, right shoulder, right elbow, right hand, left shoulder, left arm, left wrist, left hand. Push your hands together, push your hands into your chest. Let's take a breath. Inhale. And exhale. Mouth is closed, breathing in and out through your nose. Every breath that you take, inhale and observe. Inner eyeballs turn on. See your skeleton. Try to let your chest lift so much when you breathe in that you feel a lift of the lower ribs lifting away and up and away. So that you feel the front of your spine, you're lifting off the front of your spine. A few more breaths. Bring your awareness to your eyes. Gently allow your eyes to blink themselves open. So let's call that a spine breath. And so the hands together helps to activate support muscles. More often than not, there's an inclination for a forward movement in the body. So pushing yourself back so that you're on top of yourself. Pushing the hands into the chest activates muscles of posture and alignment. Breathing to your chest, feeling the lower ribs lifting forward and up and away is going to bring in a lift here. And so the body naturally has this ability as you breathe properly, which most of us don't. And the more stress you're under, the faster and more shallow the breath is. So when we're truly breathing effectively and deeply, using that diaphragm, that's going to bring in a lift to the thoracic spine, which is what we need. So we're going against our design with our lifestyle. So this breath here, breathing to your lower ribs, feeling that lift up and away and that lengthening here. Let's call that the spine breath. And think about bringing that into your day, closing your eyes, going inside, breathing to your spine and helping to correct your spine with breath. All right, for today's practice, please have a block handy and have a strap handy. Let's put those off to the side. And then you're gonna need a blanket for today's practice. And we're gonna start with the blanket because I like to start with a little correction in the spine. And this is one of the ways that I feel in my body, the deepest stretch in my pectorals and in my shoulders and also in the spine. So you take your blanket and you roll it up in a tiny roll. Now it depends what size your blanket is. And if you have shoulder issues, so if you do have any rotator cuff tears, I would suggest that you don't elevate your body too high because when gravity starts to stretch the shoulder, if you do have tears or issues with your shoulder, this could actually aggravate this part of your shoulder area. So for those with shoulder issues, not such a high fold, maybe you fold yours so it's a little bit lower, a little more support in the spine. And then we're gonna take this blanket and bring it up here. When you come onto it, the blanket goes onto your spine, not in your tushy. So bring yourself to the side and then bring yourself all the way down, coming forward, nice lengthened spine here. Bring yourself back to center onto that blanket. Now the knees bent actually is a little bit more forgiving for the low back. So if you have low back issues, having your knees bent, you could explore here with your eyes open what it feels like to have straight legs and see if it brings any extra tension to your low back. Legs are wide, pinky toes open to the side. That'll relax the hip joint, which in turn can help to relax the pelvis and the spine. So do whatever leg position is appropriate for you. Lengthen neck and then slide the shoulder blades towards the spine. So dig your elbows in and slide your shoulder blades towards your spine. Then bring your arms out to the side. Try to go as high as you can. So the hands rest on the floor. That's the key. The hands are on the ground. Try to get the arms to be on the ground as well. So see what's appropriate for you. Mouth is closed and begin to breathe in and out through your nose. Breathing in and out through your nose. Follow the breath in your body. Feel where it goes. Feel where you are experiencing a stretch and an opening. Keep your mouth closed, breathing in and out through your nose. Direct your breath all the way to your left foot. So as you breathe in, breathing into the left side, feel the left chest move, feel yourself breathing all the way down to your left foot. Let's switch and breathe all the way down to your right foot. And then see if you're able to breathe in and breathe down to both feet at the same time. Let's add a little movement here with the upper body. So wiggle your fingers. Bringing your arms up and down in this position can really help to stretch the front of the body, correct your posture. Doing what's appropriate to you, you could either slide your arms along the ground or you could let them hover, moving through whatever range of motion is appropriate. Exhale, bring your elbows down to your waist. Inhale, let your hands go overhead, fingers touch if you can. Palms are up towards the sky the whole time. And then try to let your arms go as far away from your body as you can. So let your arms go pretty far away, if that's possible. Still keeping the wrist, the hand, and the elbow in the same plane. So don't let the hands go up and the elbows are low. Try to get the hands to be in the same level as the elbows. That's going to be a deeper stretch. Also stretches the rotator cuff muscles. You inhale to raise up, stretching your body. You exhale to lower. You want to make this a little more intense. Bring your feet to be body distance. Flex your feet. You exhale to relax. As you inhale, reach through the heels and let your arms go overhead. And you may feel the belly stretch, the abdominals, stretching the spine as much as you can in the supine position. Inhale, stretch, lengthen. Exhale. Last one. Keep your arms overhead if you can. Legs are straight. Point your toes. Try to get your arms towards touching the ground above you. Maybe you can. Press your belly button towards your spine. Try to press the low back towards the blanket. And you may even feel a stretch in the front of the hip joint here, maybe in the core, maybe under the arms, the armpits. Spread your fingers wide. Reach your fingertips long. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and bend your knees. Open your eyes. Let your feet be a little wider than your body. Let your hands go onto your belly. Spread your hands. Let's do a little with the neck here. You want to be careful because you're elevated and you're going to roll down. So it's going to be a much deeper stretch than it normally would be. I want you to close your eyes. Before we begin, I want you to pay attention to your ears and notice if you release mucus, you feel the need to swallow, or you feel stretching in your ears. So hands are on the belly, back neck is nice and lengthened. Push your head back so you feel the blanket. Exhale. Inhale. On your next exhale, slowly let your head move in one direction. Inhale back up to center. Exhale in the other direction. Inhale back up to center. Feel your ears. Notice if you swallow. One more on each side. Bring yourself back to center. Take a breath here. And then bring yourself onto your side. Bring your hand onto the ground. Spread your hand wide. Push your hand into the ground in your elbow and push yourself up to a seated position. So there's new research coming out to actually explain the mechanisms of how we create bone and muscular strengthening in our body. And there's a very strong correlation between the mind being prepared, knowing what's happening, and us applying that force. So actually setting up our body for that. When you do anything with breath where you close your eyes, especially when you drop into the somatic, into the body awareness realm, when you're breathing and you're visualizing that you're going to your foot, or you're visualizing going to your belly, or breathing with your lungs, or feeling or seeing the spine lengthen or stretch in the front, that's creating more integration of mind and body so that there's more efficiency or effectiveness in your practice when the awareness is on stronger bones, muscles, balance, posture, alignment, whatever it is. So let's get our blanket. Take your blanket, open your blanket. Come onto your blanket and take your hands pretty wide. Move your body around side to side. The real key with osteoporosis is that or osteopenia or whatever, is that you're very aware of your body when you're moving. So let's move side to side, into the shoulder, into the hip. The farther you push your hips to the side, you're going to notice a stretch. This is on the side of the hip joint. And the muscles that are moving and stabilizing the hip, those are the things that the muscles do. They stabilize, they hold it in a position, or they move the joints and the bones. Then bring yourself forward and back. Forward and back. Keep your head lifted here. Let your shoulder blades remain on the back of your body. Bring your awareness to the front of your spine. It's not bending. And when you do this, see if you could feel the glutes. We're warming up our glutes here, lengthening and contracting the glutes. So you may feel right where your legs attach to the pelvis that you're feeling work there. You're feeling a stretch. Toes are pointing straight behind you. Don't let them be together. Straight behind you. And then push your belly up towards your low back when you do this, and you'll get a little extra stretch when you come back. Warming up your hip joint, using the glutes because that's what helps to flex the torso. And then bring yourself up, giving yourself a little break on your wrists. And then I'd like you to grab your block and your strap. So for this next movement that we're going to do, we're going to be in the seated position. So you have to choose what's appropriate for you. I like to do this. I like to have one block here and sit on it, which is okay for my body. But if your knees don't like to bend, you may need to elevate a little higher or come into a crisscross leg position. So finding for your body what's appropriate. Even a chair would do as well. So it's more about what's happening up here. If you have shoulder issues, you'll need to modify. Maybe you'll need to sit this out. And if you have shoulder issues, maybe you could do this where you're doing circles. Let's all do this. Let's do circles to warm up the shoulders. Think of the elbows being what goes around into the biggest circle. And then really when you lift up, open your throat. Let your chin come down towards your chest to stretch the back of the neck. Inhale to lift up. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale. And then one more. And bring yourself back to center. So you could continue with that if you have shoulder issues, or you could do something like this with shoulder issues, or like this to warm up your shoulders, or even this. Maybe a little more challenging if you have shoulder issues. So warming up your shoulder joint. For those without, go ahead and grab a strap. Take your strap overhead and then bring your strap forward and up and over. Stretching your chest, stretching your shoulders. Keeping your chest lifted and open. And then one more, come up, stay up here, stay back, really lift up and away. I like to say, imagine that you have a sheet and you're in the wind and the wind is blowing your sheet like a big cape, like Superwoman. It can be very empowering. And then bring yourself back. You know, they actually did a study where the position that you stand in, when you stand in this position, a position of power, they call it, they actually checked cortisol levels, stress hormone levels. And when someone was in this position, their stress hormone levels were lowered. And when they were in a crouched position or a forward fold like this, there was more stress response in the body that was actually detectable with the hormones. So this Superwoman position, whether you could be up here with like a sheet, like a cape, or you need to be down here, that really, here I am kind of position. All right, strengthening the rhomboids, the muscles that draw the shoulder blades together. Shoulder blades are like triangles right here in the back of the body, like your wings in the back of the body. We want them to move towards each other and down towards the pelvis. So we're going to activate the muscles, the rhomboids and the traps in the back of the body that help to draw the shoulders in. And that's going to be very supportive of posture. So take your strap, bring your strap not too far apart, and then you're going to lift it up, pull apart, and then when you draw it down, think about sliding the shoulder blades towards the center of the spine, and then slide the shoulder blades down the back of your body. The hands will follow, and then release. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other down to the pelvis, and then release. Push your belly button towards your spine to help protect your spine, to help protect your low back. Stay down, slide the shoulder blades towards each other. So really pinch them so you feel heat, like there was a pencil that you could hold between your shoulder blades. And now draw the shoulder blades down to the top back edge of your pelvis, strengthening the back of your body. Push your strap back. It's not resting on your head. So push the strap back away from you. Shoulder blades are towards each other. Shoulder blades are pulling down towards the top of the pelvis. May feel some tension in the head and the neck. Chin parallel to the ground. Push the head back. Push the strap back. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Slide the shoulder tips down to the pelvis. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and bring yourself out. Shoulders are forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. If you'd like, you can take your hands down alongside your body. Inhale, up. Reach up as long as you can. Pull the ribs away from the pelvis, and then down. Chin goes to the chest. Inhale. And exhale. One more. And exhale. Let's get the strap again. So we're going to do a little lateral movement. If you have shoulder issues, maybe try this, getting your elbows to go up one. And let's all start like this. Take your hands on your shoulders. So you become your own rotator cuff externally. Rotator cuff has 4 pieces. And it's the tendons or the ends of 4 muscles that make up the rotator cuff. So take your fingers and have your fingers be the rotator cuff. Elbows are alongside the body. Let your elbows come down and let them go up. And then you're going to go side to side. Feel the low ribs moving away from the pelvis on one side and on the other. We back bend a lot in this practice when we're strengthening our bones and our body for healthy aging. And when you stretch the side of your body like this, you warm up your body to back bend more safely and more deeply. So if you like, you could stay there, or you could take the strap and go side to side. Keep your hands alongside your body. Really stretch your tissue. One more each side. And then bring yourself back to center. Take your strap off to the side. And your block. Okay. So let's come on to all fours. We're going to do the plank posture, strengthening the front of your body. I want to do a little shoulder flossing before we come into it, because the shoulder blades need to be on the back of the body for proper posture. And I'd like you to develop this awareness of your own shoulder blades and where they are. So if you come onto your hands and press your hands up to the ground, you could lower your whole rib cage towards the ground without bending your arms. And then you could push away and lift away from the floor. You could lower your whole rib cage down. Go slow here. You're actually rolling the shoulder joint forward and back, the arm bone forward and back in the joint. The shoulder blades are sliding to the side of your body and to the center, to the side and to the center, and then bring yourself up. We could do this in an upright position as well. Your hands are here. Let your hands go away and then slide them back. Away and slide them back. Lift your heart up. Now this is only the shoulder blades are sliding away from the middle of the spine and forward. My arms are staying straight, and you'll see that I'm moving about 2 or 3 inches. So we want that nice shoulder blades to be on the back for support of posture. Slide the hands away, slide them back. Keep your shoulders out of your ears when you do this too. Okay, so we're gonna come into a pretty strong posture, and we're gonna need to slide the shoulder blades towards each other on this so that the upper back stays together. We're gonna do the side plank, Vasisthasana. I think it's one of the hardest postures to do, okay? So this is it here. Now you wanna make sure you're not collapsed in your chest. You want your shoulder blades to be sliding towards each other. You could come into this version. This is actually a little bit of a break, still getting that whole upper body strength. Or if it's too much for you to do that, you may need to be down here in a modification of this, still getting some side body lateral chain and getting the work up there in the back of the shoulder blade. So you're going to choose what's appropriate for you. And 30-second hold is what I'm going to go for today. You choose what's appropriate for you. Don't stay any longer than you should, because it's a lot of pressure on a lot of parts of the body. This is the side of your body, so we don't always work on that part. So let's do this posture because it's pretty crazy. I'm going to begin on this side since I demoed the other. So I'm going to come to my left side. You can come to whatever, but if you let that hand that you're going to come onto be right underneath your shoulder, that's the best position possible. So bring yourself up into the plank, feet are together, lift your tushy and roll onto the pinky toe edge of the outside of that leg. And then you push into the floor to lift your pelvis away from the floor. And then push your heart forward and push your fingertips into the floor. Long spine, heart forward. One more breath. And then you bring yourself down and out. Noticing what you notice. It's the hardest posture that I do for sure. Let's come to the other side. Take your feet back into plank. Lift your pelvis up to roll onto the outside pinky toe edge of this side. Pushing into the ground, long spine. Shoulder blades are in the back of your body. Deep breaths. One more breath. And then bring yourself out. Take your wrists, roll your wrists. So let's move into the camel posture. Take a break from weight bearing, add some stretch, really opening the front of the spine. The hand position can be clasped hands, or you can put your hands on your pelvis. Try to get a balancing of the pelvis, a tilt of the pelvis, if you can, to make it a little bit more safe for your body. So hands can be together, elbows are moving towards each other, or you could use your fists to push into the top of the pelvic bone, stretching the chest, lifting the heart, opening and stretching the front of the body, and the belly is soft here. So let's begin in the camel. Shoulder blades slide towards each other, and then press forward with your shoulder blades to lift your chest, to open up and stretch the front of your spine. Deep breaths. Slide your shoulder blades towards each other, elbows towards each other. Belly is soft and stretching. Front of the spine is stretching. Really push the shoulder blades forward to get as much length in your body as possible. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and release. Bring yourself to catch your breath. Close your eyes, bring your hands to your heart. Press your hands to your heart to your hands. Close your eyes. Sit in whatever position is comfortable for your body. A couple of deep breaths down to your pelvis. Take one more breath. And then bring your eyes open. So I'd like to do a posture. We're going to hold it for 30 seconds that I usually use as an assessment posture, because this is where I have noticed over the years where balance really shows up for people, whether they're have weak balance or are getting stronger in balance. So it's called spinal balance, and it's going to strengthen the back of the body. The higher you lift your limbs, the more intense the strengthening is in the back of the body, the upper back and low back, the diagonal. That's how the body works. So the body's going to have to stabilize itself, really activating that whole posterior chain of support for posture. So you're going to come onto all fours. Pointer fingers are forward. Let's slide the right leg back and the left hand forward. Exhale and inhale to lift your right leg and your left hand. And then flex the right leg so the tippy toes are pointing straight down towards this ground. Reach long with your left arm. Try to get it alongside your ear and try to straighten it if you can. Press the fingers into the floor. If you want a little challenge, you could lift your foot off the floor. Belly button to your spine. Lift your limbs as high and as long as you can. One more breath. And then bring yourself down. This also strengthens the glutes and the hips. Love this. Let's inhale long here. Exhale, and then inhale to lift. Right arm alongside your ear if you can. Nose is pointing straight down towards the ground. Flex the left leg. Reach the left leg, reach the right arm. So lift as high as you can. If you would like a little challenge, you could try to take the right foot off. Pelvis has to stabilize. Upper trunk has to stabilize. Take one more breath and then bring yourself down. Bring yourself out. So the spinal balance is a great way for you to test yourself in your balance. You're close to the ground. You can start bringing in some challenges to that. That's a real good indication of the communication of balance in your spine and your torso, really strengthening the hip joint of the standing leg and the back muscles for posture and for alignment. So we're going to go down onto the ground now. So let's come through a dolphin plank. Take your knees back. Bring your body forward. Bring your elbows underneath your shoulders. Hands are spread. Either keep your knees on the ground or lift them up and away. Push back with your heels. Make sure that all 10 toes are touching. And then activate your core. Long spine. Take one more breath. And then let your pelvis come down. Keep your arms here. Walk your arms so that your elbows are underneath your shoulders. Toenails are flat. And then push your rib cage forward and push away from the ground a little so you feel a stretch on your belly. We've got to stretch the front of our body and strengthen the back of our body. Open the front and strengthen the back. Exhale. Inhale to look over one shoulder and then bring yourself back. Inhale the other shoulder and back. See if you can feel this all the way down alongside your belly button. Stretching the top part of your psoas muscle which is a core muscle, a hip flexor, and a very important muscle for health. Bring yourself back to center. With length, lengthen your torso, bring yourself down. Elbows are out to the side. Forehead rests on the back of the hands. Breathe down to your belly. Take one more breath. Bring your forehead to the floor. Take your hands. Your fingertips are pointing down towards your feet. Your hands are alongside your body, maybe by the waist or the top of the pelvis. Palms are on the ground. Slide your shoulder blades towards each other so your shoulder blades are on your back. Walk your feet so your big toes touch. Forehead touches the ground. Exhale. As you inhale, push your hands down, reach your head forward, and lift your head and your upper body away from the ground. Feel that work in the back of the body. Slowly exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Stay here. Slide your shoulder blades towards each other. Push your feet into the floor and push your pubic bone towards the ground. Breathe down to your belly. Take one more breath. Fold your hands. Let your head rest, and then spread your legs. Wiggle your feet back and forth, side to side. So we're strengthening the back of the body. There's not a lot of muscles. Well, there are a lot of muscles. They're just not big muscles like quadriceps and hamstrings. You've got the tushy. I mean, I guess you have the lats and the rhomboids, but there's not as much flesh on the bones in the back of the body, meaning muscles. So bring yourself back to center. We're going to strengthen the whole back, lifting up into a locust, bringing the feet together. Hands are alongside the body or clasped behind your back, whatever you prefer. Exhale. As you inhale, lift up and away from the ground. Slide your shoulder blades towards each other. Reach your legs long, reach your head long. Feel your pubis bone pressing into the ground. Take one more breath. Bring yourself down, fold your hands, rest your head. Spread your legs as distance of the mat and wiggle your pelvis back and forth, side to side. And then let your body rest. Take a couple of breaths down to your belly. Let's come onto our side. Take your hand to the side, roll onto your side. Take your hand on the ground, push yourself up and away. Come into a position that you can let everything settle, whatever that is for you. Close your eyes. Go inside your body, make sure what you're doing is appropriate. Catching your breath. And then open your eyes. I really love that saying, catch your breath. It's a really neat thing, catch your breath. I really like that. Okay, so we're going to come to standing. You're going to need your block for this. We will not need the blanket, but let's use the blanket to lift away from the ground. Challenge yourself if you can by using your weakest leg. Bring your foot forward, back foot is flipped under. Hands are on the thighs, keeping your head lifted. You're going to rock back and then push the front heel into the ground, the back toes into the ground, and bring yourself forward and up. And then go ahead and safely bend down to move the blanket. And get your block. So let's do the tree pose, the pose of balance. When we find the postures of yoga, like in written form or in, hieroglyphics, right, where it's etched in rocks, one of the most ancient postures in yoga is the tree pose. And it's a tremendous pose, I think, because it strengthens our pelvis and our hip and the area that is so important for us to have a really independent, active, healthy life is the hip area. And then it adds that challenge of balance. So really strengthening the balance from the feet all the way up through the brain. So let's do the tree posture. Toes. For those of you that are getting a little stronger in your practice, start with your feet together, especially the big toes together. Not so much the heels, but the big toes together. And then if you need a little bit more balance, you could be hip distance, which is only about 4 to 6 inches apart. So choose what's appropriate for you. Let's take the hands down alongside the body. Reach down with the hands and feet. Reach up with the spine and torso. Then push your body onto one side. Bend your knee. Kneecap is forward. Kneecap to the side. Foot up in between the ankle and the knee. Push down into the ground. Activate your core like you're zippering up a super tight pair of jeans. You'd have to suck in your tummy if you had a tight pair of jeans on. Arrange the back of your neck so it's nice and long. And find something to look at, to gaze at. Push down with your foot, back with your knee, contract your core, lift your heart, stare intensely at one specific dot. And then let's bring yourself out. Coming to the other side, the toes touch, the hands are down, weight onto the other side, bend the foot, knee out to the side, lift the foot up in between ankle and knee. Arrange yourself, pushing your foot down, lifting your heart, lengthening your spine, lengthen the back neck. Hands reach back, pushing back to activate those upper back postural muscles. And then find your focus. Deep breaths. And then bring yourself out. So you may have noticed that was a minute on each side, double the time that I usually do. So did that feel like a minute? And did you feel the strength or the tension? Did you feel the feet a little bit more, the hip a little bit more? Was it more challenging? One of the things that I really suggest if you're doing this throughout your day, which I recommend, is that you really focus on that point. There's something to that because the eyes are a part of balance. And when you can actually focus your brain power in one specific area through that optic nerve, when you can take the optic nerve and focus it, then it's not bringing in all this external stimulation, or it's focused so that you have more attention on balance reception in your body. So I cannot state that enough, especially for those of you that maybe fall out of your tree, fall out of the tree. I really find something to focus on that you can hone in on like a laser. And that'll help to integrate that communication and balance in your body in a really deep way. So let's move on to Warrior Two and Side Angle, because when we do these postures, they're great for strengthening the pelvis and the lumbar spine and the spine in general, but it's also an opportunity for us to activate postural muscles in the upper back. So we're really going to focus on the hand position today in the arm position in the Warrior Two. So a block when we get to the side angle. So let's put this over to the side. Bring yourself into feet are together, and then start to widen your stance and see how you feel as you do this. See if you feel steady. If you need a chair, get a chair, and if you need a wall, get a wall. So take your feet forward, and then let's go to this side first. So swivel, keep your legs straight, toes point away, and then the back heel lifts up. And it matters how you enter. This matters because we're setting our joints up so we load them in specific angles to create bone stimulation in certain angles. Shoulders are forward, up, back, and down. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Keep your hands here. Now bend that front knee. You're pushing that front knee to the side, and you're pushing that back knee to the side. So trying to move the knees away from each other. Exhale. As you inhale, push the back foot into the ground, load up into that front knee joint. Shoulder blades are on the back, chest is forward, and strongly lift your arms up into your Warrior Two. Pay more attention on the upper part of this today. Lift and lengthen your spine, pinch your shoulder blades towards each other, and reach long at the same time out of your fingers. Lower the shoulders from the ears, lift the heart. Try to add a little back bend to the upper spine. Grab the floor with your feet, push your heels into the floor, lengthen your spine, push your hands back, maybe even back farther than beside your body. Really push the pinky edges of your feet into the ground, pinky edges of your hands into the back. Your heart is lifted. Take one more breath. You're going to bring yourself up and out. Toes come forward. Front heel pushes in. Toes are away. Back heel back. Push your feet into the floor. Slight bend in the front knee. Shoulders forward, up, back, down. Reach down with your hands. Exhale. Inhale. Push away from that back foot. Load into that front knee. Lifting your arms up with force. Pinky toe edges into the ground, heels into the ground. Lengthen your spine and push your arms back. Push your shoulders out of your ears. Deep breaths. Press down, lift up. Take one more breath. Strongly let your arms go down. Don't just flop them. Use muscles to let them come down and out. Bring your feet back. Find yourself in mountain pose, posture of alignment. Toes are forward. Spine is long. Front spine is lifted, lengthened. Hands reach down. Breathe all the way down to your feet. All the way down to your pinky toes. And then go ahead and release. So we're going to come into side angle, getting more rotational force to come into the spine. So creating some bone building stimulation in the spine, really focusing on this part of your body in this practice. So maybe you don't go down as low in your knee and hip flexion, and you focus a little bit more on creating that rotational force in the trunk, strengthening the postural muscles and that spinal protection muscles. So let's get our block. We'll go to this side first. Not all need a block, but just in case. So you're going to take your feet wide, coming into toes away, heel away. Slight bend in that front leg. Shoulders are forward, up, back, and down. Reach strongly down with your hands, and then inhale to load into the warrior two. From here, lengthen long, and then come onto your leg, arm up. Maybe you could have a block here, or you could keep your arm on your leg, whatever. Now we're going to add that rotational force. Push your heels into the floor. Draw that energy up into your spine. Then try to turn your heart up towards the sky. Really opening up your heart. Deep breaths. Find the deepest variation and continue to work when you're in the posture. Take one more breath. Back into your warrior two and all the way out. Toes are forward, preparing to come into the warrior two on this side. Shoulders are forward, up, back, down. Bend that front knee. Exhale. Inhale to lower into the warrior two. Reach long. Flex at that hip joint to come onto your thigh or onto the block. Active feet, push the heels into the ground. Draw that length up into the spine, and then rotate the heart up towards the sky. Take one more breath. Push your heels in, bring yourself back up, bring yourself out to the mountain. Strength, stability. Take your body, shake your body. Take your feet, flip your toes under, stretch the top of the foot on both sides. Let's stretch the upper body in a chest expansion, something you could do throughout your day. Take your hands and clasp your hands behind you. If you can't grab your hands, try to grab the wrists or maybe even the elbows, clasp your hands behind you, reach your hands down and stretch your chest here. Chest expansion. Try to get very narrow across the top of your body, reaching down. It's like the camel. It's a back bend. Squeeze the shoulders towards each other and then bend your knees and try to tilt your pelvis back. So bring your lower lumbar into a neutral position. Tailbone is down. Breathe down to your belly. And see if you can feel that rebounding back up to lengthen your spine. And then go ahead, bring yourself out. Shake your hands. Let's try to do the reverse. This is called namaste when you bring your hands together. See if you could come to something like this. Maybe you could get the pinky edges together. Maybe you could get the heels of the hands together. Maybe this is not something you can do, but for those of you that can, try it and then push the elbows back because everything is connected. Tightness in the belly may be related to tightness in the wrists. And bring your hands forward, bend your wrist, stretch your wrist towards your body, and then away. Straight arm. And then the other one. Shake. So we're going to come down into the ground, do a bridge, and then do a shavasana. So let's prepare to come down onto the ground. Have your block handy and a blanket. So bringing yourself down onto the ground, block off to the side, come all the way down. So get your block, bring your block between your knees, pushing away from the ground with your feet, with your arms. You're going to strengthen the back of your body for posture. We will need the blanket to be away from the head. So slide your blanket away from your head. Rocking side to side, slide the shoulder blades closer to your spine so you're very narrow across the top. Arms run to the ground. Walk your feet close to your body. Press your low back into the ground. Exhale, lengthen your neck. Squeeze your tushy as you inhale and peel yourself up and away from the ground. Use your arms to help you here. Pressing your arms, either arms are bent or arms are straight. Squeeze the block, push your feet into the ground. Let the shoulder blades help to bend the upper spine. Give it your best effort, your strongest effort. Stretch the front of the body, squeeze the block, lengthen your knees away. Take one more breath. You slowly bring yourself down. Block off to the side. Blanket back underneath your head. And then draw the knees into the chest. Rock side to side. Moving into the posture that allows everything to sink and to settle into your tissues, your cells, and then eventually your soul. Corpse pose, known as Shavasana. So choose the variation that is appropriate for you. Legs, in the traditional sense, legs would be straight. Find whatever is appropriate for you in your body. Breathing in and out through your nose. Stay with your breath. Stay here in this moment. Set your body up to build strong bones. Stay here. Stay with the breath. Gently begin to deepen your breath. And start to bring movement into your fingers, your toes. Bring your awareness to your body, making sure that today's practice was appropriate, that everything feels good, and maybe even a little shaky, which means you confused your muscles, which is good because then we can strengthen them and bring more aspects of you online for balance, posture, alignment, joint coordination. Bending your knees one at a time, draw the knees into the chest. Rocking side to side, onto your side. Pushing away with the muscles that you push with, your hands and your elbow. Push strongly up to seated. Bringing your hands together at your chest. Long back neck, long spine, lifted heart. Let's close with sound, the sound. Take a big exhale. Inhale. In gratitude, namaste. So don't underestimate the power of every aspect of your practice. Every moment that you're in the moment, every moment you're in a strengthening or lengthening position, every moment you're balancing in your joints in a way that is unusual or different, is the opportunity to create stress that is appropriate for building bones and muscles. And aging is a stressor. So we're all in that process of aging wherever we are in that spectrum. And so using stress as our friend, or realizing the stress that exists and flipping it on its side and going against the grain or the curve or progression or regression or whatever. So don't underestimate that every single thing you do, whatever you are doing, is building something and managing something. All right. I had to say that because I'm feeling a little shaky. So I'm like, ooh, I was in some nooks and crannies that I'm not always in because I created a little stress in a different place today. So how are you guys doing? Let me see. Roxanne, I'd love to learn about how you reversed your osteoporosis, because that's pretty amazing. Dr. Fishman was working with someone negative 4.8, and he helped her without medications. Let me see. Oh, Tatiana, how are you? Oh, Tatiana, sorry. We looked at that this morning. We're trying to look into this. My husband did something when I was gone last week. So we've got to figure that out. You're shaky too. Good, Stevie, because I know you're really strong. So yeah, I think there's a little bit more refinement. I know I push myself. That's what I was going to say. Every single time I teach, even though I teach 5 classes a week and I do this all the time, I can constantly push myself, in appropriate sense, because, and maybe that's why I just feel so strong in my body and really good with my balance. I hope to have that forever and ever and ever. That's my goal. Okay. Well, HCl is good for digestion, but you got to make sure that you don't have H. pylori, because if you do, you don't want HCl. So digestive support, I think, is imperative for all of us, but not HCl with H. pylori. So I don't know if you did a stool culture to look for that, but that would be something you'd want to look into. But amazing, right? Amazing that you're able to support digestion, to shift your diet, and to reverse your osteoporosis, reverse your bone loss, because it is possible. So I love to hear that, Roxanne. And you're going to keep going down and down in those numbers, or up and up, down and down in the negative sense, which goes closer to the positive. You're welcome, Carolyn. Yeah, side plank is hard. Really, side plank was hard for me today on my left side. I don't know what the heck was happening. Maybe because we did this first, we strengthened our back muscles. So I don't know. All right, everyone, have a wonderful rest of your day. I don't even know what day it is. I'm like, what day is this? What time is it? All right. Nice seeing you. Thanks for joining us, Roxanne. Yeah. Yeah, you're only gonna know if you have H. pylori with a stool test. Some other ways too, but yeah, that's really important to know. Um, Good, Carolyn. Well, we love that challenge, right? Here we are, staying young forever. All right, whatever that means. Young at mind for sure. Okay, have a great day, everyone. Bye.